Just get this ready. Let's see. Put this on Discord. Boop. Let's see. Subscribe star. And Patreon. Patreon, fix your shit. Let's see. Yes. Publish. And that should be it for now. I'm not gonna go crazy over it. Alright. To work on this. I should give them an outline. I think that should be okay. BNG. Yes. Come on. Is it not going to tell me a bite size or? Oh, okay. Okay, cool. It does update. All right. That. Okay. So. Got what I want. Make a copy. Merge. Dun. Ooh, this is nice music. Hopefully I won't have to censor anything. Alright, now for the hard part. Well, semi-hard. Down. Try to make this look good. Hey Alex. Been a while. Hope you're doing well. Need to start streaming more. I keep saying that, and then I only do it like once a week. Well, aside from the break I took. Yeah, it's been about 3 weeks because I took the 2 weeks off, and then I took another week because I was just busy getting other things done. But now I'm like, okay, let's start streaming more. So yeah, not sure how long I'll be going today, but trying to get back into the groove. Let's see. Oh yes, that character I want to use as the avatar for streaming. So they will be getting more attention pretty soon. Their name is Sasha, since Sasha is both a male and female name. No real meaning behind why I'm doing that, just for my own entertainment. So yes, like Becky will be the mascot for other things, Sasha will be the mascot for streaming, Viro is my first character, so he's like a personal mascot. Vaughn is like the main person for the comics. So yeah, multiple personas, I guess would be the word for it. Try not to go too fast on this because I want to take my time with details. Trying to put a little bit more time into the art so that way they look nicer. So I can pay attention to any details I may want. I know, right? There's like, what, 4 or 5 now? Becky, Viro, Vaughn, Sasha. And then, if you count me specifically, then yes, there are 5. And then, probably tomorrow, I'll be working on the last auction for the auction set. And then I'll be planning out how I'm going to do future art sets like that, since I heard the voices from the masses as well as people from behind the scenes giving me some feedback. So it'll be interesting to see what I experiment with. Let's do this for... I can always darken it. I'd say the light's pretty much in front of her, so put a little bit more light on her beak. There we go. And then I do want to look into start streaming on Twitch, and then just separate, you know, what I stream on Twitch and what I stream on Picardo. I just gotta figure out if what I stream on Twitch gets recorded, so that way I can use the recordings for YouTube. If not, I mean, I have the software to record. I just want to know if it makes it easy, because the bright side about Picardo is that it records your stuff up to a certain limit. Like you get like up to 12 videos, so good to optimize stuff like that, because that way Picardo saves the stuff, I can download it, you know, compress it if I need to, and then post it. So different sites get different benefits. The Veteruscies can do a new band. Can make a new band. That'd be fun. Just have some like non-canon band of the four me's. And then have me as a manager in the background, just like some random person you don't see their face of. That'd be funny. I guess to keep up the joke, I'll do it this way. And I'll just keep that highlight there, because it doesn't take away from what I'm trying to do with this. Let's see. This should be an interesting page. But yeah, I need to crack down on moving on with certain ideas and stuff that I want to do. But I've been either taking too long doing certain other things, or just not trucking along faster. So working on that, among other things. You know me. Yeah, from what I understand, a lot of people like Magala, so I'm gonna... Well, one, I need to make her character bio, because I meant to do that sooner, but I didn't get a chance to. So I want to make her character bio, and then, I don't know, maybe set her up for more artwork pretty soon, if I'm going through with... Because the other idea I want to do is try doing drives and see how that goes with people. Because drives I want to be more open, so that way more people can see the artwork and stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'll probably do either Waking or Vor as the first pick for the drive, and see how that goes. Only thing I got to figure out at the moment is just how many picks I'm willing to do for the drive, and go from there. Because figuring out how much the goals are is going to be a whole other obstacle. But, you know, it's kind of one of those things that you can't really dwell on. You just kind of do it, and then go from there. So, we'll see. But yeah. I mean, obviously Vor and Waking are always going to be probably... Well, Waking especially is going to be the favorite. But I do want to do other themes, because other characters do other things. So, it'll be a matter of if the picks are going to be like a sequence or progression thing, or if they're just going to be individual pictures with different scenes and stuff like that. So I think that'll just be the adjustment if I'm going to other themes, because, you know, not really much you can do with, say, I don't know, let's just say bondage theme. It's like, okay, is it going to be a sequence, or am I just going to have different positions of a character in a different situation? So it's one of those juggling acts. Yeah, because the whole idea with Magala is that she was supposed to be. She was either going to be a researcher or just like an assistant to a researcher, and they end up stumbling upon the tribe. And at first, the tribe is like, not cool with them showing up there. So that's when she kind of gets either mistaken, or she just kind of um, makes up a story. It's like, oh, I speak for the gods or something like that. Whatever the scenario will call for. And so they ask her like, oh, are you for insert this god? And she says, yeah, sure. And so not realizing that the god that she um, speaks for, quote unquote, ends up being like either a food sacrifice or devourer type of god or whatever the case may be, and she ends up fulfilling that role. Thus, why she's stuffed to the brim. Yeah, think I'll be doing that for the drives. So like like muscle gain could be something I could do. And like none of the picks have to be canon, so that way it opens up more crazy stuff. So like if I were to do like muscle gain, it could be like, Mars just getting super jacked. And then there's, hyper stuff. And, exaggerations and inflation and, the list goes on. Oh, welcome to the stream. I'm doing alright. Just working on this comic page that I'll be putting up pretty soon. And this time I'll probably just go all the way through and, put in, well, I don't know. We'll see. Because sometimes I like to keep the dialogue secret until I post it. But sometimes you can kind of figure out what's going on just based on visual. And it's not like it's a secret, like eventually people are going to see the pages anyway. Okay. Some lighting on the crotch. A little bit of lighting back here. Okay, that should be fine. So this will be a fun page. That reminds me, I'm debating on if I want to change that character's colors. I might actually do that. Let's do that now, before I get too far into this. Let's turn you off. Might have to change that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna change the color of this. Because I was mostly just changing it to avoid matching with Kiwi, but I think it's better off if I just stick with the original plan. So let's do this color. Was it green that I wanted to do that part, or was it this? I think this is fine. Like a darkish green. Maybe lighten it up a bit. There we go. And then we'll just redo this part. Delete that. Double. Really? I did not know that. Good to know. Okay, so refreshing fixes that issue. Okay, good to know. Yeah, last thing we need is just more nonsense. Okay, so there we go. Her color's been tweaked. Oops, wrong one. Grab these. Okay, back to this. Yes, and I'm going to have fun with the character that's behind the curtain. I will say she is a celestial. Because I don't think that really matters knowing that. Do some lighting. Try not to rush myself, because I don't need to. Just take my time. Oh yeah, it's not a character anybody would know. This is literally the first time I'm drawing this character. Like, I've had her in my mind for like years of the type of character she's supposed to be, but I hadn't like taken the time to draw her yet until now. So she will be fun. Had to kind of tweak her title though, because another character exists that would take up her title, or has a similar name, and I don't like doubling down on names, but at the same time I kind of just gotta cherry pick when to double names, such as Marcy. Now there's two Marcys. So I shouldn't be afraid to do that. It's just certain characters I want to avoid doing that with. Also try to tweak the line art a bit. Try to be a little bit more flowy. So I'll be practicing doing that a little bit more. So that way there's not too much sharpness to characters. But then certain characters are stylized, so I'll take what I can get. Oh yes, big limb. At first it was going to be a leg, and then I decided, nah, I'll just make it an arm. Because I can always do the idea that I'm thinking for her when I draw the rest of her. I need to make a proper biopic for Douglas too, because he doesn't have a standard pic. He just has a screenshot from the comics. Same thing for Eden Fig. They don't have a bio yet, but the panel that they have showing their vices and all that, they're just in the screenshot from the comic. So yeah, much to do. Her mouth would be like this. Okay, so I think that's okay. If I need to tweak something, I'll just do it. Need to be not too cautious all the time. And then the curtains I can deal with on a different layer because they're going to be counted as a background. Yeah, there's like because some things I don't do because I'm taking time into account, but then I keep forgetting that I had already addressed that like months ago, that I'd be trying to take more time with certain pages to make them look nicer and not so rushed. So I just need to put in the time that I need and not worry about how long it's taking. Because, I mean, I know I want to get through other comics and stories and stuff, but I shouldn't be rushing them either. Because that's, one, I'm not going to like it if I'm rushing it, and two, it's not going to look nice. At least by the standards that I have. So, just take my time. Pages will be ready when they are ready. But I also don't want to fall into doing one a week, because I hate doing that. I know I've done that a couple times. Well, not a couple, quite a number of times. But that's why I was taking time to learn certain techniques and stuff like that, so I can streamline them as much as possible while still keeping the quality that I want. Okay, so we got all that. That didn't take too long. Okay, next. And then I know that certain art techniques I just won't be able to do without the sacrifice of time. Yeah, because there's plenty of art styles that I've been like, researching and practicing and stuff that I want to do. And it just boils down to how much time do I want to put into the pieces. Because like the painting art style that I was doing takes at least 6 hours or so, depending on the piece. And obviously I can't do that for comic pages unless I sacrifice other things that I'm doing. And it just boils down to what... Because like I can still work on the other things, but it depends. But then at that point I just have to really schedule things out. And then I also have to take into account that the art styles that I keep looking at and practicing and stuff like that, I have to understand that those people aren't working on comics. They're only just working on single pieces. So they have all the time in the world to be working on those and post, 1 or 2 or however many they do a month. And they don't have to worry about working on a comic and stuff like that. So I have to keep taking that into consideration, because it's like, oh wow, I would really love to do that, but you're also working on a comic, so you can't do that. So, and it's a give and take. If you're gonna do one, you're gonna lose something from the other. So, it's just one of those things I have to think about. Like, if I do try making any of those artworks, it's going to be one of those things where I gotta, like, take a day, work on it, and then make it part of, like, an art set or something, whatever I use it for. Yeah, I like the cardboard thing, too. Yeah. It's just one of those things where I want to do everything, but I need to understand that I can't do everything. But, like, I keep rejecting that idea. It's like, no, I want to do it still. and it's just not realistic, and I need to stop doing that. No. Or, wait. The rest of the comics going to be inclusive. The comics that are going to be in color are the main Creamfield, I Hat, Black Circus, and then later World Gates and Buckle. Those are the ones that are going to have like colors for their main stories, because I Hat is mostly just going to have colors for the main stories I'm going to pick out, which I'm going to have to readdress, because I'm thinking of just cutting down the ones that just like nothing super major is going to be going on, so I probably just want to focus on the ones that are actually impactful. Same thing for Black Circus, because looking at some of the characters is like, okay, these characters are twisted, but like nothing they're doing is like super critical compared to certain characters, so I might just go over the ones that I want to have color comics for, and then the rest will have black and white comics. Like, they'll still get their comics made, they just won't be in color. Or they'll have just some pages in color for, like, you know, something flashy or dramatic or something, and then the rest be in black and white. So I'll need to make like a map of which characters and stories I want to have full color and the other ones won't. But ultimately, once the main stories that I want to do are done, then yes, the rest of the comics will primarily be black and white. And just occasionally they'll get like color pages, the way Fat Blake's comic did. And it'll probably speed up things too if they're in black and white, because then I won't have to put so much time into rendering certain pages. Yeah, because some of the characters is just like, I mean, obviously they could be interesting in their own right, but at the same time, it's like, is this really something that I want to put a whole bunch of energy into when it doesn't really impact anything? Like, it's not like what the character does isn't going to, like, influence other characters, for example. Because, like, Joanne's story makes way more impact than, say, what's a character that I can kind of spoof on? Let's say Clover, because what Clover does isn't going to be like some world-changing thing. Neither is Joanne's, but Joanne's is more out in the open compared to what Clover ends up doing. And it kind of just makes me want thinking about readdressing the Black Circus members on who should be there and who shouldn't. Because if what they do isn't gonna, like, you know, affect a ton of people, then maybe they shouldn't be in the circus to begin with. Or it might be just a degree of how insane their antics are. So I might be re-looking at certain characters, since nothing's really being put out there. Like, I could say that the members that I do, if I do end up swapping characters, I can always just say that the ones that were in the circus were there temporarily until they got swapped out. Whether they got killed off or just simply the circus no longer wanted them. So, we'll see. And then, of course, there's the whole lore that the circus has with certain creatures killing off certain people and stuff like that, so I'll have to look it over and tackle and change what I want. But at the moment, the characters that are in there are gonna stay there. I just might do more with them if what I think is if what I'm putting the bar at needs to be higher or raised up for certain characters, so I might just make them do more. So that way they don't have to get replaced. There's no shortage of sack. There it is. Oh yeah, it'll be interesting to do the character polls this month. I was considering moving the weight gain stories to the Fat Lovers Club, so that way they don't take up so much of the main iHats comics. Because there are a number of fat characters, but I don't want to like constantly be forcing them out. I don't know, we'll see. If I do it, I'll probably work on it like a page a month or something like that, so that way I'm not losing time from more of the main stories and stuff like that. So I don't know. This is just a thought I was having, so we'll see. If I do something, it'll be either a page a month or 2 pages a month, or I don't know, however I figure it out. If I do it in black and white, then it could be more pages. So maybe I'll do it that way. And it'll just be labeled Fat Lovers Club. Yeah, after hello, Wolfie. After Kiwi's comic is done, I'm gonna be going back to both iHat 2 and Black Circus, because I want to, move on with those stories. So it might be a while before the next Creamfield comic. But yeah, I want those two to have my attention. Yeah, that could be a thing where, the circuit, because the circus does like swap out members because it only stays at 9, but that doesn't necessarily mean the characters that get replaced have to be killed off or anything. Can always be some obscure criteria that prevents them from getting killed off or something like that. Or it could even be a freaking dice roll, who knows? But yeah, like, maybe some characters can change and stuff like that. Like, especially in, like, Clover's case, that might be a thing that happens. So that'll probably be the case where just, the circus just decides to move people out. Kind of less track as the rest of the series. No, it's the rest is not going to be in black and white for a Kiwi's comic. This is just how I'm doing a certain shading style. Like, you'll see what happens when I get further along. Oh yeah, speaking of that, I need to pay attention to this, because I'm trying to keep this in mind for hair. But yeah, if I did do something like put Creamfield in black and white, it'd probably be for different reasons, or maybe a joke or something. Yeah, I'll probably at some point I'll have like a pick of Plum just kind of waiting her turn, and make it probably like the scene from Beetlejuice where he's waiting for his turn in the afterlife. So probably have Plum just sitting there waiting her turn, or tickets like something ridiculous. And maybe have like another Creamfield character with like a lower number for some reason, and she like tricks them into taking it, and then hilarity ensues. Yeah, I've kind of streamlined everything to so that way when I'm working on something, I know exactly what I'm doing and where I'm doing it, and in what order, so it's not so sporadic. Because I know some artists just kind of go, and as long as it looks good in the end, then that's how they did it. But I know other artists have like a process, so my process is just this is the order of how I do it. So right now we're in the grayscale phase, where without losing my planned colors and stuff like that, and it also helps me know what areas need to be lightened up because of how I do the grayscale now. So it's just shading and rendering techniques. That's all it is in certain layers. Yeah, I'll think of something fun to do. Like I'll maybe like whatever the other Creamfield girl does that she steals the number from, uses their vice on Plum. Like for example, if she took it from like Nere, and Nere like gets Plum super high or something, or even Boysenberry like coaxes her into giving the number back or something. I don't know. Whichever character she takes it from. Luckily, she won't have to. Or it could be Jam, because Jam doesn't have her own comic yet. She only had her introduction comic. So yeah, she could try to take it from Jam, and then Jam just sits on her or something. Or just scolds her. It's like, Plum, I can't believe you would do that. Or tries to take it from Strawberry. And Strawberry just just glares at her. He's like, you really want to start that? The mushroom episode. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Anaria's comic was just, let's all get high. Just have, I don't know, probably some trippy scene visuals going on if I can. And I don't know, I'll probably have like a visual of Marcy when she eats that muffin show up randomly. Like has nothing to do with the comic whatsoever, but it's just there. Yeah, maybe I'll do something like that. That'd be funny. So yes, many plans. Just a matter of time. Although, with that said, I did take much longer on Kiwi's comic than I intended. But that was kind of the trade-off for doing a card game. Because I have to explain every card that goes on and make sure everything's in order. Kiwi's hands are a little bit more flatter because they're more like wings. Okay. Yeah, Jam's big booty has its share of, I don't even know, like, I want to say problems, but that's not the word I'm looking for. Shenanigans, I guess. You know, knocking something off a desk or something by accident, and she, like, apologizes because she's the type to do so. She's like, oh no, I'm so sorry. Meanwhile, as she turns around to apologize, she, I don't know, smacks somebody else with her fat ass. And then it's just then it kind of boils down to, like, how often does this happen? That she doesn't want to admit. Okay, that should be good. Yeah, that should be fine. Oh wait, knew I was forgetting something. Yeah, originally the comic was going to be that where Kiwi was going to go up against a different character who had a foresty mushroom deck, but or like fairies and stuff like that. And for whatever reason, there was going to be like a thing where if they took damage, they were both going to get stuffed with food and stuff like that. Like, that was going to be Kiwi's initial comic, but then I decided to go for more plot based on how Creamfield was going to end, like the overall series. So I decided to go with that idea instead, because I could always use that other character for like a card game comic or something. And so to make up for that, that's why Kiwi has this separate weight gain sequence going on. Since her comic had more plot being inserted into it. Yeah, Plum with Morning Wood is not always exciting. She's like yeah, and then she's like, oh wait, there's gonna be a problem. As she proceeds to start knocking shit over when she's trying to get situated or dressed or something. She's like, come on, go down already. Yeah, like, Like, I figured it probably wouldn't matter if the weight gain was part of the plot or not, because I know that's just, it's just eye candy that people want for the most part, but I would prefer to have a plot going on to a degree. Like, obviously the first three comics didn't have too much plot going on. Maybe the first one well, the second one did have some plot with Jam being banished. First one was just more like, okay, they're there. Third one, not so much going on there, because it was just Apricot getting a job, and then it ends up with a sugar daddy. That's kind of like the extent of that. But this one, it was like, okay, one, it shows that Douglas is going to be a reoccurring character to a degree, and then second, introduces Eden Fig and then the other character at the end of the comic, as well as certain ties that Eden has to the characters. Yeah, if anything, episode 3 more just introduced more characters that would be showing up in either IHAT or World Gates. And that was like kind of it, really. But other than that, there wasn't really anything relevant. Well, I guess the closest thing to anything actually plot relevant in 3 would be Tiny Pets. Because if you look in episode 4, for some reason the Tiny Pets look more violent than they initially show in the third comic. Especially when I did that teaser of Tiny Pets. So, that's probably the closest plot that episode 3 has. And if anyone was paying attention to Jam's side art in I believe it's in the $20 tier, I think, there's something extra that kind of pokes or hints to all this as well. So I do that. I end up sprinkling in other story elements and stuff like that into either backgrounds or scenarios and stuff like that, and I tend to do that. It's one of those things where it's like, if you're paying attention, then you kind of get extra content just for keeping up. Okay, so Bitterbeak. Almost done with this part. Probably need to practice on this part more. Yeah, and a lot of them are just gonna have, shenanigans until it gets towards the end. Because a lot of the main part's gonna take some time, so it gives the girls more time to just kind of dick around. But there is gonna be an actual ending to Creamfield. Like, the characters aren't gonna be gone forever or anything like that, but the main structure of their story will change things. Some of that is going to happen, Deathmeister. Not all of it, but some part of what you said will be a thing. Feel like we have a little bit of Apricot cues. Ha. Yeah, I'm sure there's some bits of the cast in everybody to a degree. It's like, oh, we got the cocky one, or oh, we got the wants to be the strong one, or wants to be tough. Like, oh, we got the gambler or the analytical one. Like, oh, we got the ditzy one. Okay, got that. Maybe probably make a little bit more tone of muscle. There we go. Trying to round these out more, not make them look so flat and stiff. And like I said, the curtains I'll tackle in a different phase. I want to get the main stuff out. And then after the last auction is done, I'll put out like a statement / announcement for my thoughts on the auctions and what I want to do next. Because that'll probably be the drive thing. Probably just put a little bit of shade. Fat grubby arms. Okay. Guess the shadow would be lower down. Okay. Should be good there. Multiply. Not make this too dark. Save my shit, because I do not want to retread all this. But yeah, I think I'll be lowering the number of characters that will get color comics. Because I think, because the whole point of iHat in general is just, these are just a bunch of background characters, and they all have like their own little personal stories and stuff. But at the same time, I don't think all of them warrant having a comic in color, which was why Secrets was going to be a thing. So, think after. Or I think I'm gonna spend tonight just like going through the characters I had planned and just see which ones should be getting color comics and which ones shouldn't. And then I'm just gonna lower the number to something I'm comfortable with. You know, being okay with doing full colors for. And then after that, characters will most likely just get black and white comics with some color pages every once in a while. Because I don't think there's a need to do that for a huge chunk of characters. And then the same thing might apply to Black Circus. I just have to go over the characters and see which ones really need it and which ones don't. And then if there are any Black Circus characters that don't get it, then I can always move them over to iHat Secrets, because Black Circus is just an extension of iHat anyway. And then iHat's an extension of World Gate, so there's that. But yeah. And it'll also help, you know, push out more stories without having to put in so much energy into stories that don't really go anywhere. And then I think once all of iHat, Black Circus, and Creamfield are done, I can focus more on Buckle and World Gates. Especially World Gates, because World Gates is long overdue for the shit that it's supposed to be doing. Bright side is the characters that show up in iHat and Black Circus do make cameos in World Gates, so it's not like all those characters are gone, because there'll likely be situations where you'll look in the background and you'll see, I don't know, maybe like Marcy or Skylar or any other character just kind of roaming around doing their thing. And then probably like, you know, Blake's family, the Sinclairs, since they're super rich and all that, so likely they're gonna have some cameo appearance. Let's pick another. So yeah, lots of planning. I just gotta step up my game. Speaking of games, I need to make the last few artworks for cards for the Kiwi set, or the special set. Because I want to make special artwork of Kiwi as a card. Because there already is special artwork for Jam. So Kiwi, Eden, and Jam will have special artwork. And then there's 2 cards that Eden Fig never got a chance to use because they didn't fully understand the card game. Because if they had known better, then they could have planned things out more. There's some lore tidbits about the Black Circus already. It should be in like the lore or bio section. I know that's where it is on DeviantArt. I'll have to check where it is on the other sites. But there's like a lore section and stuff like that. I do need to make more information because, you know, I just put in like the gist of what it is. Because it's mostly for like people that kind of like go crazy. Or just have like a mental breakdown and stuff like that. But there's going to be more on it because I still have to do a bio of the one who's in charge of the Black Circus. And where that will go. And then there's like other crazy instances of the Black Circus, like the familiars that come from it. But yeah, it just kind of boils down to how important these things are, and that's why I'm trying to manage my attention to all of them. That depends on your definition of cute. Like, kind of hard to tell you that. There, answer that one. Yeah, some of the lore stuff is on public sites. I just haven't put everything from the $10 tier out yet. So if you're already in the $10 tier, and I realize I did not color this character's hair in a particular way. Anyway, if you're in the $10 tier, you'll be getting like content early and stuff like that, along with the whatever art sets that I end up making. God damn it! I knew I forgot something. I'll do that later. I don't have to do that right now. Yeah, it's noticeable on that one too. I'll have to do that later. I'll do that after I get through all this. See, luckily the way I do things, I can make a mistake and be able to change it without losing everything. You go like this. Hey, Nano. Yeah, take your time, and stuff isn't going anywhere. But yeah, when I have time, I'll put out more bios and lore and stuff like that. I've just been more paying attention to making the comics at the moment, and every once in a while I'll make a character design and profile and all that. Funny doctor story. Let's see. Do it that way. Not gonna share the class. Let's see. I mean, it's up to you if you want. It's your business. Do what you want. If you feel it's something people don't need to know, then don't tell them. Okay, I'll read it. I'll probably glide it in. There we go. Who's bigger, chunky leg? Oh, who's big? It's a new character. For a brief moment, I thought it was asking me like who is bigger. Let's see. Ha. That's a good one. Yeah, you can tell people if you want. That's a good one. Yes, the character at the bottom of this page is a new character, but I've had her like planned for years. It's just a matter of when I was going to draw her. Because I think after, I want to say 2011 or 12, it was when I was like reconsidering a lot of things. And then it wasn't until 2015 that IAT would become a thing, and that like reshaped a lot of planning and character developments and stuff like that, because I think I just got better at trying to tell the stories I wanted to tell. So a lot of rethinking started to happen. At least to me, I think I got better at it. I don't know, I'm probably still shitty. But yeah, just a lot of growing happened during those times, so. I think that's why I held off on certain characters for a good chunk of time. Because again, like, I had the original story wasn't supposed to be weight gain related. It was supposed to be its own. It was supposed to be like its own thing. But then since I couldn't read the comic Hetty anymore, I just said, fuck it, I'll make my own story. And so I did. It's like, fine, I'll make my own weight gain comic with blackjack and hookers. Whoa, I am having weird deja vu. I feel like I was doing this already. That is trippy. Anyway, like I seriously feel like I was already coloring and shading this at some point. That's weird. Birth by horny, yep. Let's change that. That's funny, Nano. Nurses be like, "Oh, you know, this is what happened." And you're like, this is child's play. This is nothing." It's like this is baby mode. Ah. What's your calendar like? Ha. That's funny. I remember when a friend asked me to go with them while they were doing that. So I was like, sure. And so as that's going on, I'm just sitting there playing fucking Pokemon, catching something. The doctor's all like, is it okay for him to veer? And you're like, oh yeah, he's cool. And I'm just sitting there catching something. Let's see. Do that. It's fine, it's fine. You're good. Brighten up the neck a little bit. Okay, so got that part. Next. And if any of you are what's the word I'm looking for? If any of you are part of the Fat Lovers Club, I was thinking of pushing the weight game related comics onto that tier. So if I do end up doing that, that's where they will be going. Oh yeah, you noticed the cutout. Yeah, I'll have to decide which comics actually, you know, become public and which ones aren't, because there's gonna be a point where certain comics don't need to be public because they aren't relevant to anything, because you're not missing anything vital. And then the exclusive ones will likely just be like shenanigans and stuff like that, like just dumb fun. So I'll have to figure that out, because to a degree things will be free when it comes to my stuff, but like not everything. Like the Fat Blake comic was more of a special case, because that was part of the poll, the Patreon poll at the time, and Fat Blake just happened to win that poll, and so that's why that particular comic was free. And even though it had like extra content that you could pay for the most part it was free. So I think like other comics that don't share that kind of scenario will probably stay exclusive, or like I'll put them up to that you can buy and stuff like that from like PayHip and stuff like that. But like in terms of me posting it publicly, that probably won't happen. But like other comics that are relevant to like character development and stuff like that, those I think will remain public, but with like extra stuff that you might want to pay for or whatever I decide to do. But overall, those comics will still be public whenever the time comes. But all the special fun stuff, or well, not fun stuff, but like all the special extra bonus stuff will just be pay related. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Like whatever I'm saying is just more of me just thinking out loud. Like I still have to actually put time and thought into actually planning it out, so that way it makes sense. So not everything I say is definite until I actually put it into practice. Just saw a cookie on the end. Oh, they have cookie dough drink? That's interesting. I'll have to go check it out at some point. Yeah, like, it just depends, because I don't know. When it comes to what gets paid for and what doesn't, I still gotta balance that out. Because, like, I don't want something vital to be behind a paywall. But if it's just, like, dumb fun, like, I don't know, let's just say I did a comic of Marcy being skinny, and then just Skylar just fattened her up, and it's like a short 20-page comic, and you know, he just makes her just blow up like a blimp. Like, something that dumb that doesn't really mean anything, sure, that could be behind a paywall. But if it's like, you know, I Hat Volume 1's storyline type of stuff, it's like, okay, that can be public, outside of, like, you know, bonus content. And, you know, that's something vital, that's something like, oh, these are the characters that I want you to learn about, type of thing. So, just boils down to, like, what counts as vital and what counts as dumb fun. Which, technically, Fat Blake was dumb fun, but she was a special case. So, that would be, she's kind of like the baseline of what I want to aim all that at. I should probably drink some water. Oh, I thought you wrote dragon brownie babies. I was like, what the fuck? There's brownies? I want brownies. But then I reread it. I was like, oh, it's beanie babies. Like, god damn it. Why'd you make me have hope that I myself put on myself because I misread something? Great, now I want brownies. Oh yes, I have a sweet tooth. That's why I drew Kiwi looking at Cupcake all devishly, because that's something I would do. Or why I had Marcy eat waffles, because I like waffles. I also like pancakes, which was why Emerald was making pancakes. Look, sometimes not even sometimes, a lot of the time my personal interests go into the comics, which is pretty much 100% of the time. Anyway, look, I decided to make comics of things I like. Enough said. This is literally the whole scenario of fine, I'll do it myself. Like I've gotten to the point where if someone or something doesn't make something that I'm like 100% on or cool with, or I could think of a better idea, then I'll just do it myself at this point. Cause fuck it. That's why when I read certain stories that piss me the hell off, or not even piss me off, just kind of like start a fire in my soul, is like, you know what, I need to do this better. Because everything was good until this part, and now I'm mad. Now I'm mad, so I want to do something better. Oh yeah, I have zero problems drawing big dicks. Yay, I will deal with that issue later. Assuming it is an issue. Let's take a brief look just to see what bullshit this is. Got that. Put this on full screen just to see. Sorry, got a text message of something, but it could be a fucking scam, so I'm going onto the actual site to see if anything's different before I look into it. Because the part that gets you is if you click on a link that that doesn't tie into your actual like accounts and stuff like that. So far I don't even see an email that has anything to do with this. Okay, so it's probably a fucking scam. Alright then. Hungry for the horn. Look, the only time I'd do anything with a guy is if they were a furry guy, like an actual anthropomorphic character or person. That's the closest thing I'll ever get to actually wanting to. But that might be part of my escapism, or is just more visually appealing. So, you know, rather be shocked up with a big buff wolf man than whatever the nonsense we have right now, because it's like, not as fun. But that's just me. Worst case scenario, I'll probably just dress up as a skeleton maid. Oh wait. Let's fix that on the hair. Okay, I think I got everything I wanted to do here. I think we're good. Alright. Do that. See if I'm missing anything in particular. Does this need to lighten up? No, let's keep it at 50. Yeah, like I'm pretty open to a lot of things. It just depends on the scenario. Just a matter of preference, really. Go to Hollow Taco. Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. All I can say is be careful when you get a text message saying that something's wrong with your account for whatever website, because that could be bullshit, so it's better to not click on it if it's on your phone, because it might take you to a fake web page. So it's better to just directly go to the website that is mentioned and go from there. Because a lot of scams kind of bet on you using your phone to do everything, because from your phone you're not thinking of like refreshing the page or anything like that often enough, and so you want to make sure everything is squared. Yeah, because like the message I got, let me take a better look at it, because I don't want to delete it yet, because I want to make sure it's true. But it's like, you know, your account's restricted, sign in and resolve the issue. And I'm like, one, if there was an issue, I'd be getting a goddamn email about it too, not just a text message. So that's already a red flag. So yeah, I will look into it a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure it's just a scam. Because I had already logged into my account and looked, and there wasn't even a notification saying anything like, oh, something went wrong and you got restricted or whatever, so it's likely bullshit. They always find a bottom and take their frustrations on. Well, you just gotta be careful, because there are such things as power bottoms. So who knows, you might be biting off more than you can chew. Jam has a power button. Yeah. If Jam was into that stuff, then she would be like, Jam is already classified as a dominant type, probably leaning towards dominatrix, but like she doesn't go all the way in on stuff like that. Like she's very oblivious to a lot of things because she's not thinking of anything in a sexual manner. Like, you have to get her to understand what you're trying to get her to do, and then she decides if she wants to do it. Which she probably will, just for the social experience, but other than that, it's like, you have to be kind of blunt when it comes to Jam. Joking there. Well, yes, her ass is obviously powerful. That's why Strawberry assumes that most of Jam's power is in her ass. Strawberry is annoyed that she has that she has big boobs because she thinks they get in her way. That's why she has them strapped down. Let's see, is this too bright? I'll keep it at 70 for now. I might adjust it later. I'll have to wait until I do everything else. That reminds me, I still need to fix our colors. Watch me forget, and then I put it out there and I'm like, damn it, I forgot, and then I go back. The only way Plum is ever gonna fuck Jam is if Jam allows it. And it'll take quite a bit of convincing for her to agree to it. And it's not like Jam just like is like disgusted of her or anything like that. It's just she doesn't see the point. Because Jam doesn't think of anything in a sexual manner, so you have to like convince her to do something and find any meaning behind it. That's why when Jam does something, if Jam were to do something sexual, it'd be probably because she's not aware that she's doing it in a sexual manner. So, like, if you were to give her, like, I don't know, a popsicle, and she just starts eating it in a lewd way, she's not going to notice. Unless you point it out. And then she's either going to say you're just making everything dirty and, you know, continue to eat it the way she's going to eat it. Or she'll be self-conscious about it and try to avoid doing it that way, only to make it worse. So, just depends on how you go about it with her. I have no idea what Joy Division is. I wouldn't say Jam is ditzy, she's just oblivious and not very self-aware. Because you have to think of her point of view, that, you know, she comes from like the heavens and stuff like that, so a lot of god entities just kind of do their function and move on. Because it's like the equivalent of, you just walk down the street and if you happen to step on any ants, you're probably not going to notice. And that's kind of how Jam functions. She doesn't notice a lot of things that she's doing because she's just fulfilling her function. Don't need to do it on there. Whereas the other Creamfield cast, they take notice and kind of indulge on it, which is why they're more aware of the innuendos that they do and stuff like that, and the antics that they are pulling off. So Jam is technically the pure one. Oh, Jesus. If she were to ask me that, I'm just gonna look at her and be like, something you'll never have to worry about. God, I can imagine Jam looming over my shoulder as she watches me draw. And if I'm drawing her, she just has like this disapproved look on her face as I draw her fat ass. And she's like, it's not that big, is it? I'm like, honey. It's like, sweetheart. Like, it's like sweet summer child. I blessed you with a gigantic ass for a reason. And it's up to you to find out how to use it. To figure out how to use it. Lord help me if I ever get in an actual position of being a god. Which is technically now, because I'm drawing comics. That's the closest thing I have to being a god at the moment. Yes. Yeah, like, God help me if any of my characters become real and sentient, because they're gonna give me a fucking earful. Especially characters like fucking Becky. I could see Jam like trying to defend me. He's like, "You do not speak of our Lord in that manner," and I'm just be like, "It's okay." They can talk to me. You know what? At that point, it's just going to be nothing but fun to see what happens from all the characters I've made. But yes, drawing a comic's the closest thing I'll have at the moment. Becky would throw me off of a boat that's on top of a plane that's over the freaking ocean that has a volcano inside, or erupting from it. Like, that is the degree that she will take things. If possible. I must cast him into the abyss. And I'll probably just do some stupid Star Wars shit to say, like, if you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you ever imagine. And she'll be like, God damn it. It would be funny if she says, God help me, and I'm like, I'm right here. Yep. That would be quite an event and amount of fun. Assuming any of it will be fun. Me as I grab the eraser. I brought you in this world and I can take you out. Or I hover over the delete key or something. I don't know, whatever the case may be. Of course, if they're in reality, then that probably wouldn't work. I don't think they would follow Roger Rabbit logic. Nah, I would never delete any of them. I would never do that. Yeah, they would know better. They would know I would never consciously or even want to delete any of them or erase any of them. That would never cross my mind. And that's when I noticed that I messed up on this part, so we gotta fix it. Actually, it's just easier if I did it this way. There we go. No, like Becky tries to come at me and my retaliation is I give her gigantic boobs that weigh her down so I can escape. Oh god. Yeah, if any of my characters try to start shit, I just bring out the fetish wheel, and it's like, all right, which one of you is starting shit? And then I gotta spin 3 times, and that's what happens to them. They get a piece of art drawn in whatever fetish. Have like Viro on there, and it's like, all right, Viro, you're getting fucking male pregnancy. Let's go. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, don't look at me. You're the one that had to spin the wheel. Inflated tits. I do want to make my stream look nicer, so I want to try to take time to make it look all special. So much to do, so little time. Well, technically I have all the time in the world, it's just a matter of how much time I want to put in each week. So much to do, so mild coordination that I need to get more organized. Let's save before I go insane. Thank you. Let's see. Lighting is going to be a bitch, but I'm going to try. Being an artist is one of the hardest jobs in the world. So much you have to do on your own, especially if you're a freelance artist. Okay. Technically this would be a different color, but whatever. It's only important if I want it to be. Hello. Oh yeah. I thought it looked really nice. All right. Next part. Just going down the checklist. Damn, it's already almost 2. Shit, 2 hours went by that fast. I mean, that makes sense. It usually takes about 3 hours to fully render a character. So yeah, that checks out. Been playing some Shadowverse and slowly understanding how broken a lot of card games can get. Because good lord, Shadowverse is not an easy game to get into. It's fun, but Jesus, that game kicks your ass. Good thing they have a lot of tutorials and beginner stuff in like single player modes. So there's that. Bright side is you don't die immediately in Shadowverse. It takes quite a bit of time. Although I think some of the balancing for certain cards needs a little more work. Some of those cards are just like, okay, why is this card able to do this for such cheap value? And it's like, oh, well, you're sacrificing a card to do it. And I was like, yeah, but if it doesn't cost you any points to do it, then it's not exactly losing anything for it. Especially when drawing cards is useful in that aspect. But that's okay, because it just makes me take notes to what I can and can't do for my game. So, better to learn than not. Because knowledge is power. Which is super true. Anybody that tells you otherwise has not been thinking about it. Okay, did all that. Next. Kiwio. If Kiwi played Yu-Gi-Oh, she would just find whatever was the most broken deck in the meta and just use that. She would not give a fuck. Kiwi's the type that would make you hate card games, if given the chance. Where it's like, oh, I can beat you in one turn? Okay, guess I'll be doing that forever. Kiwio sounds like a cereal. Should just have a bowl of Kiwios. Jim would be like, what's this? And it's like, oh, it's Kiwios. It's like, why are you on the box? It's like, oh, it was a deal that somebody offered money and stuff, so I said sure. And Jam would just look at it and just like, is it any good? And it's like, ah, pour yourself a bowl. Or it could be like Bugs Bunny when he gets addicted to Sparkle, so have Jam addicted to Curio cereal. That can always be some side comic or something. Just have Jam get addicted to a cereal or something. And just let her go crazy. And have her kick the habit at the end. Yeah, Kiwi would just literally become like Miriam. Like the only thing that would probably keep her at bay would be hand traps, and that's assuming that she doesn't take that into account. Or if she is aware of it, she'll make sure there's something to back it up. Which there probably is in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I'm sure there's some fucking card that makes hand traps like a horrible thing to use. But yeah, she would likely find some loophole or break the game in some way where it's just like, oh yeah, fix your shit. If you don't want her doing this, fix your game. No. I guess the closest thing of food that they wouldn't be able to get rid of the fat of so easily would probably be like divine food. But the only divine food that exists is just like, you know, golden apples and stuff like that. Which was why Jam asked Raz in the second comic if they had any of those. Which might explain why Jam has a fat ass. So it could be that. But overall, no. they can freely decide if they're fat or skinny. Which is why you have Pumpkin Pie, who doesn't give a shit and just lets it all happen. Yeah, she has a default state, but sometimes she just doesn't give a shit. And most of the time, like, they're just gonna stay in a fat state until the next comic, because, you know, they know their roles. But yeah, like, the whole point of them losing weight is so they can keep doing this stuff again and again and again. If I kept them getting fat like Marcy, for example, then it's just going to get to the point where they're not going to be able to do anything and they're just going to end up being immobile. Or if I make it so that they are mobile and they can like loom around, then we get into the whole territory of, okay, how do they fit in buildings type of thing. And then it's just a matter of, okay, they're inside this small building, are they like warping space in order to fit? And it just keeps escalating from there. That's why if you're gonna make a weight gain comic or story and all that, you gotta decide how realistic you're gonna make things, because the moment you put rules and boundaries to a degree, then anybody who's looking at your story or looking at the picture or whatever will start poking holes at the logic. And that's when problems start coming up, because it's like, okay, you can make them ridiculously fat if you want, but then you're going to have problems if you're trying to have like a cohesive story. Because the moment you introduce certain elements into your world, then other things will start to fall apart if you didn't make it make sense. Yeah, that's exactly how Peach and Pumpkin Pie would see that. But yeah, like, you have to be careful when you're making like expansion-based characters, because a lot of the time you're gonna be breaking the rules of your own world just to cater to a character that shouldn't be affecting the world in that manner, especially if it's not like a natural ability. Because you'll always see comics of like, oh, this character is bigger than like, I don't know, 6 buildings, but then somehow they're sitting there chilling inside of a house, and you're just like, what? It's like, oh, did they shrink down? It's like, no. So it's like, so how are they in the house? There is a way for weight loss. Oh yeah, they can slim down in that manner if they want. It just boils down to their own interests of like, do they want to be skinny immediately or do they want to work it off? So like, I could probably do that for like Strawberry, who doesn't think to do that, where she doesn't think that, oh, she can just poof the weight away. She actually just like exercises, so you just see her like just becoming all sweaty and trying to slim down, and she like actually does it, but she like worked her way to do it, only to find out that she could have just, you know, magicked it away, to her dismay, when she's like, fuck, I could have did that, and they're like, yeah. Why didn't you think of doing that? But then she'll probably have more pride in actually working it off than to just magic it away. Yeah, yeah, like, you have to have a balance of whatever kink/fetish you're trying to do, or else it's just not gonna make sense, and the most you're going to get out of it is some eye candy, and that's kind of it. So if you're cool with your story not having any real meaning or any balance, then go for it. You'll just end up being nice eye candy in the end. And the most of the criticism will just be like, oh, the story was shit or something like that. Which was why I wanted to redo the main story for I Hat 1, because I felt that there was just a lot of parts in it that either didn't make sense or could have been done better. And that's why I went through all that. But yeah, and I think it was because I started slowly realizing all that. That was the reason why I wanted to redo it. Because you don't want to get to a point where just things don't make sense. Assuming you're trying to have like an actual world, like if you're trying to have like a world that characters actually live in and there's like an actual continuation going on, then you have to take all that into account. You can't just throw stuff in there and hope it works. You have to actually plan it out a bit. And granted, like, my comic has like fucking cyborgs and robots and magic and gods and shit like that, but like I'm trying to like keep things grounded so that way if those things do exist, there's like an explanation of why it's not that common or why you're not always seeing it. And if the characters do have that ability, what's the downside to it? Like, okay, they have this super special, awesome, amazing ability to, I don't know, let's just say one character can make herself the size of a city. Like, they can just become a giant. Okay, what's the balance of that? Obviously, if them stomping around is going to cause problems, so are other characters going to get involved? Are they going to try to stop that from happening? You gotta make it feel like it's lived in. But again, if you want to ignore all that, you can. You can't just have some dumb story where the character becomes giant and just destroys the city and blah, 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 blah. End of the world scenario. Or just, goofy characters just going to lounge around on top of the country. Like, you can do that, just don't expect to be able to do much with it if your character's destroying everything. Because it's like, where do you go from there at that point? Yeah, like, if it's just a fun toy box, then do whatever. But once you try to make it serious, that's when you have to think about, okay, I can't have my characters just blow up the city every 2 days or every week or however the case may be. Because then you gotta figure out, alright, are characters just ignoring what's happening, or how is the city being rebuilt every time? It was kind of like in Evangelion, how it's kind of like this giant robot fighting monster thing, similar to Power Rangers or Super Sentai. And then in Evangelion, they explain that a lot of the residents just left those areas, just moved away because it became too hectic and stuff like that. They couldn't just live there if that was going to keep happening. And even in Marvel Comics, they explain that there are people that rebuild a bunch of the cities and stuff like that get destroyed by supervillains and stuff like that. So those exist. And then it boils down to, like, who's paying for it and, how is that going about. Like, there was even a comic with Wolverine where it explained that, like, there was like a group of people who wanted to get revenge on Wolverine for different reasons, and you slowly find out that every time Wolverine was involved with like a major fight, other people in the background who became collateral damage, they were very affected by the end results of all of Wolverine's actions and stuff like that. And they explain, where each character came from that was involved in one of Wolverine's like major battles and stuff like that. And it was explained that, they were negatively affected and all that, and that became a storyline where to get revenge on Wolverine, they trick Wolverine into killing his own biological children that he had throughout the decades, because he has lived for like probably over 100 years at that point, I think. So he got around. So all these normal people got revenge against him for that, and that's how that happened. So they took elements from situations like that and made it a thing. It's like, oh yeah, this is the guy that you fucked over because you're too busy fighting this supervillain to fucking pay attention to where you were and stuff like that. And that happens. So that was like a storyline because they made the scenarios realistic, and it's like, yeah, this would actually happen. In the case of the Creamfield cast, they're in purgatory, so a lot of the shit that they do doesn't affect anything, but the moment they enter the actual world with like Marcy and all them, then all their shit won't go unnoticed. They'll actually have to matter. Anyway, let me read some of the chat. Does inspire by the same logic and how it's possible that humans. Yeah, like when it comes to Dragon Ball Z and even sometimes in One Punch Man, a lot of the time they take the main bad guy or villains to a more isolated area so that way people don't get hurt. Like they already solved that issue by like just saying, hey, let's go over here. And obviously certain characters can blow up the goddamn planet, but at least when they have that ability, it takes time to actually do so. So, and most of the time, the characters, back off a bit and then create a giant energy ball to chuck at the planet. So, which gives, Goku enough time to actually protect the planet and stuff like that. Like, they've already solved that problem of, hey, here's a bunch of innocent people, let's go somewhere else to prevent collateral damage. With that said, they still haven't explained why there are fucking dinosaurs and animal people in Dragon Ball. They're just kind of there. Like, they never explained that part. Thoughts on Hell of a Boss Season 2? I'm looking forward to it. I want to see where things go. I know there was some delays because of, I think, music-related stuff, but yeah, I'm still looking forward to it. That'll be fun. But yeah, like a lot of comics that have to do with like world-ending scenarios or enough to affect the city, the writers have gotten to the point where it's like, yeah, we kind of gotta take all that into account now, especially if we're gonna continue on with the world and stuff like that. They have to take all that into account because you can't just keep blowing up a city every 5 minutes and expect the city to still be there without some explanation. Like even in Bleach, for one, they made like a fake city, but then at the same time say that it's like parallel to the real version. So if whatever barrier or whatever they put goes down, then the actual city will take the actual damage of everything that the characters were doing. Well, yeah, and there you go. There's the balance. Like, is your thing going to be canon or logical, or is just up in the air on, do you want this to be an actual story, or do you just want to have dumb fun? Because both are perfectly fine. But trying to combine the two is where it gets hard. Because at that point you got to figure out what's canon, what's not canon. If it is canon, then how does this affect blank, and so on and so forth. So, if it's just dumb fun and you're not worried about a story, then just have dumb fun. Like, don't worry about it, just do whatever. But if you're trying to have a story, you gotta think about it. Because there might be a point in your story where you try to do something, but then realize that you did something similar, or did the exact same thing ages ago, and the results were vastly different because of whatever reasons you implemented at the time. So it's just something to think about, because it fully depends on how far you want to take things. If it's not serious, then don't worry about it. If it is serious, then you gotta worry about it. Yeah, you just gotta work it out. Getting close to being done. Yeah, the downside is that rendering comic pages takes a big chunk of time, because you gotta take this as, I'm not just coloring a page, I am coloring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. Well, let's say 5, because the flat cardboard cutout shouldn't really count too much because there's not much going on there. But still, this is technically 5 characters plus a background for each panel. So you gotta take it that way. Because normally one character with one pick with like a decent or basic background is, for me, about 3 hours start to finish. If I were to start from if I knew what I was gonna draw from start to finish, it would be about 3 hours. If the background was like basic and all that. If there's more to the background, it'd probably take a little bit longer, because of however much detail I put into that. But yeah, time is probably one of the most important things you ever need to think about. The character will be revealed in the next page, but I will say she is a celestial, so a god character, or divine character, however you want to put them. I can do it this way. Let's see. Yeah, fix that. Oh yeah, did I get that on her cheek? Oh, the cheek's not visible on that one. If I can, I'll try to make the next comic page sometime tonight, because it should only be like a few panels big. And then I think either tomorrow or this weekend I'll work on the poll winners. I need to work on the next art sets too. I am still working on Nadine's though, so I'll probably put more time into her. Nadine's fun, even though the picks I'm doing are just kind of whatever. They're just shenanigans. She'll be fun when I do her comic, because she's all like, "Oh no, I lost my job. What am I gonna do for work?" and then learns about streaming. And it's like, oh boy, where is that going? But I'll probably, I don't know, draw something along those lines as well for her art set. Because none of that's canon anyway, so just do whatever. Well, not canon to the sense of chain of events, but like obviously she can walk around in her underwear scratching her ass while she looks through the fridge and realizes that she didn't buy groceries. Like, that can still happen. It's just the pics are just for fun. Maybe at some point I'll just put whether or not something's canon. If that's even necessary. Dun. Okay, did all that. Alright. So save. Dun. Okay, so did all that. Let's do the background real quick. Yeah, if your thing is balanced, then go for it. But if it isn't, then just something to think about. Yeah, let's just do it this way. Yeah. Let's try it this way and see what happens. And I'll have to put effects for the arm coming out. I'm iffy when it comes to speed lines. Sometimes they look good, sometimes they don't. think that should be alright. Next. Put that at 50. Might need to switch brushes for this. The yellow part is part of its skin. If it was like food or anything, I would put more detail to make it look like it was dripping off of her or something. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun with her design. And if I do a solo comic of her, it would probably just her, like, every once in a while playing around with the mortals. Originally it was going to be a leg, but it is an arm. I would say supersized BBW. If I had to choose. Let's see how this looks. Wasn't gonna do it this way, but doesn't seem to hurt. Don't want it to 100% be the same, so let's just do it this way. Fuck it. I'm already doing it. It's a little better. That's just for Kiwi's thighs. That's just the top part. Most of her is pretty thin, from the knees down. She's just got drumsticks. Yeah, sorry, I got caught up in working on the curtain. I was like, Alright. Put some backlighting, or reflective light. There we go. Try not to put too much into it. Okay, everything should be fine. Let's lower this though. Nah, she's actually pretty small compared to her siblings. Like, outside of counting her thighs and big hands, she's pretty thin, naturally. And she's part of Team Flat Chest. Because she has no big boobs. Which is fine with her, she doesn't really give a shit. Okay, did that. Fiddling around with panel 2 is going to be fun. Panel 3 will be pretty easy. Let's see. Do I need to adjust anything for that? Actually, it might be better if it's smaller. Yeah, it's fine. That is not the tool I want to use. I think that would work. Tone that down. Okay. Save. I still need to put in the shadows. I wasn't paying attention. What's a cheeky hack? Or what was the cheeky hack that I may have done? Because I do it often, so it's not like it's anything special. Yes, this is what I want. Copy. In the corner. What was in the corner? I'm being thrown off now. I'm like, what? Okay. Or, oh wait, no, I'm looking at... I keep thinking I keep thinking the colors are the same. Or the same person. The goddess of lust. No, I mean, there is a goddess of that, but then there's also the character lust. Plum is just horny. So many gods to address. Lust has been shown a few times in other media. Because there's some art of her around already. I need to update her though, it's been a while. I need to make the original Lust, and then I need to make the Lust that took her spot. Probably tweak the colors a bit for that. Actually, it's just more gray, that's all it is. And that's fine. I'll tweak it if I need to. Or actually, let's see. No, it wasn't that panel. There we go. So what would happen if I did this? So it did look like that. Tweak that. Tweak this. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, there's a giant list of characters that I need to address. Like, I still have my old folder of a lot of the older characters I've had since high school. Some of them have been used in the comics, in recent years, and then others I've just been kind of sitting there chilling, waiting for me to get around to them. So, like I said, a lot to do. Let's make another layer. This one, let's see, kind of want this one to be at an angle. So probably make it darker on that side to help it match. Yeah, there are a ton of characters, which is why that's like one of the reasons why I'm cutting down on how many I had in Black Circus and all that I'll be working on, because if I can only focus on the major ones and then the other ones will just get, shorter black and white comics, then I will. That way I can focus more on Roll Gates and Buckle. So, just a lot of me working things out. I just need to sit down and take the time to look things over and be like, alright, which ones are important, which ones aren't. I think 70 should be fine. 70 seems to be the magic number with a lot of things. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I think I'll stop in about 15 minutes and I'll work on the rest of this tonight. Okay, so we have this, but I want it to much of a curve. Just enough to show that there's a ceiling. Let's do this. Actually, these two parts I can do after the fact. Come on. Render. Question, and forgive the horny. Would she be naked? I mean, I guess for the most part she might as well be naked, but I guess she is wearing some form of clothing. Although, ultimately it doesn't really matter. But, she's only behind the curtain because she wasn't... she's not technically supposed to be here. So she's kinda intruding on what Kiwi was going to be doing with Tallulah. Which, for those wondering, yes, Tallulah was supposed to be Claudine, but then kind of forgot that I named her that, and so I named her Tallulah, only for Nano to point out that her name was Claudine. I was like, fuck. And so I said, fuck it, now they're twins. So now there's two of them. And I just slightly changed Tallulah to be a slightly different from Claudine. So if you look at them closely, you'll see like two differences of the two, and there you go. So they are currently the second set of twins I have. Technically third, if I decide the other twins that I made are different designs. But, yeah. So that happened. She is neither. She is a god. So, technically, the fruit cast should be aware of her, since they worked for our gods. So pretty much up to Kiwi to acknowledge her and see where that goes. Hello, Sacred. I'll be stopping in about 9 minutes. So anyway, let's see where we're doing with this. Let's put some shadow over here because I'm trying to make it look like the parts above her is just part of the stage. There we go. So I got those. Ooh, I did not want that on the same layer though. There we go. I like having a lot of things on separate layers in case I need to adjust things. Okay. And we'll just use a little light yellow. We can adjust those. I don't really like that. Let's delete you. Just double it. There we go. That's better. Okay. Got those. Still need to draw the shadows, but I'll do that last. Alright. This is going to be a pain in the ass. Hold on. Can I cheat this? Joanne, I need you. Maybe? Nah. Well, I can, but I don't think there's enough for me to want to, though. Just do it by scratch. Need to go back to this. Copy. Oh, okay, I think that was the cheat that they were talking about. Okay. I think I figured out. Yeah, I want to stream more often, so I just gotta plan out my days better. So once I figure that out, I'll be streaming more often. Still, like, I'm debating on for like the less risque pages, or for like less risque art, I'll stream on Twitch, and for the risque stuff, it'll be on Picardo. I just gotta find out if I can save my recordings or not. Which I'm sure I can, I just gotta jump through a few hoops to do so. Don't think there's any reason why I would need this to be like that, so let's combine these two. But yeah, I do want to stream more often. Let's do this. Yeah, do it that way. Okay. Well, yeah, I only need them up for like a few days, and then I'll save them, because I plan on using them to post on YouTube. But other than that, then whatever works. Because worst case scenario, I just use my computer itself to record. But yeah, I'll work all that out. Okay, now in your case, I only need leftover curtains from about here. About there. And we'll fiddle around with those in a bit. I'm just trying to get everything solidified. You. assuming the stage is a little bit bigger, so we'll just have it like that. Tighten on this side. That should be okay. Can always just put darkness back there. If it's not relevant, then just don't show it. So. And we'll put shadows to make up for that. If there's anything relevant that I need to put back there, I'll do it. But for now, I'm just blocking it out. Okay, did that. Fiddle around with this. Blend, blur. I think it's the water tool that I'm looking for. Let me just find that before I stop. I know it's here. Let's see if this is what I'm looking for. Kinda. That's what I'm looking for? Nah, that's not it. I'll have to find it later. Alright, I think I'll stop for now. But, are you able to explain what happens up to this point, or do you want to... I mean, I can explain it if you want, but it's pretty much close to ending anyway, on the public pages. This scenario is just a bonus thing because it's not part of the main plot with Kiwi. So this was tagged on so that way it could still have Waking in it, but still have the plot that I wanted to have. So that's what this scene is. But yeah, this is just bonus stuff for the most part. And I might as well have fun with it, so I'm introducing another character. Yeah. And the characters acknowledge it. They're like, yeah, this is our obligated bullshit, so it's not like they're not aware of it. But yeah, I'm gonna stop here for now. I'll be working on the rest of this for tonight, so I'll post it as soon as it's ready. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming. I will try to stream again soon. If not this week, then I'm going to try to do it twice next week. Probably Wednesday and Friday of next week. That's the idea, at least. But yeah, thank you for coming. I will post this as soon as it's ready. And anything else I'm working on, well, I will work on ASAP. So you guys take care, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.